Zone 2 comping moves up the piano now. So instead of this beautiful, rich low-end texture, we're now in Zone 2. And in Zone 2, we need to add this one extra note to our left hand, but I promise you it makes all the difference.
All right, I hope you're ready to practice, because in this podcast lesson, that's all we're going to be doing. I'm going to be walking you through all the practice exercises, guiding you through them, and explaining them all on goal number 1, how to play in a band and how to comp. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Don't forget, Black Friday is coming up, and with that, the release of my brand new 3-Goal Proficiency System. For more information, deals, and savings, go to jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024. But in this particular podcast lesson, I'm going to be practicing with you different exercises that are taken actually directly from the new course system I'll be releasing. With that being said, let's dive right in.
All right. We're going to get this started a little bit early. If there's an echo, don't worry about that. I'll get rid of that soon, but I am going to check some equipment here, see how everything's going. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay. Yeah, okay, great. Here we go. All right. We're going to get this started a little bit early.
That sounds good.
Echo, don't worry about that. I'll get rid of that soon. Okay, just checking a couple things here. See how everything's going. I hope everyone's doing well. Yep. All right. We sounded good. Great. Okay. First things first. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for being here. This is a live stream on my 3-Goal Proficiency System that's going to be released inside the Jazz Piano School membership area starting on Black Friday. So that's really fun. That's really cool. I'll talk about that more. Number 2, I am getting over a cold. And started in my chest, moved to my throat, and now it's in my nose for the live stream. I would have much rather had it been in my chest or my throat because that's a little bit more manageable. But as you can tell, my nose is pretty stuffed up. I probably will be blowing my nose quite a bit. So you're going to see an inside look at sick Brendan. And this is what being a human being looks like, right? This is, we're all human here. We all get sick. And I think you can all relate. So I apologize for that, but it is what it is. Good morning, Susanna. And again, I'm sorry if I am, breathing into the microphone and it doesn't sound that pleasant. I apologize deeply about that. Hi, Bruce. Hey, Ray. Hey, Mike. Losis? Am I saying that correctly? Good morning. Cool, from St. Louis. So this is going to be a really fun live stream. It's a great thing. Hey, Noel. It's a great thing to be able to practice today, actually, because I want to talk about practicing. The 3-Goal system I'm releasing inside the membership area. The first goal is going to be released on Black Friday. So I'm going to be releasing goal number 1 of the 3 goals. Goal number 1 is the student's goal of wanting to comp or play in a band or accompany, right? Instrumentalist, vocalist, right? And it's really about group comping and playing. This is going to be a brand new proficiency course system that I'm releasing that's building strong fundamentals, foundations, and will allow you to test yourself and your proficiency. It's not about mastery. It's about proficiency. And the reason that I came up with this new 3-goal system to release, because back in college, I had to test out a proficiency before I could select the teacher that I wanted to study with. I had to get to a certain level of proficiency and demonstrate that before they let me say, okay, Brendan, you can go out on your own. You can select any teacher you want now. You're good. You've demonstrated your proficiency, right? And so that is exactly why, hey, Tom, that's exactly why I created this. And it works really, really well for the New School University, for myself, and for all the students over there. And that's exactly why I'm releasing that inside of Jazz Piano School. It'll be the very first 3-goal system course that everyone should start with and go through. Every single person that joins Jazz Piano School or comes into Jazz Piano School will be recommended to go through these 3 courses because they're the most efficient, fastest way to get up to speed on all the information that's going to streamline you to a certain level which you can then add advanced things onto. Okay. If you're new here and you've never seen me before, first of all, I apologize for being sick. But we're going to make it through. And go to jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024 to get more information about these courses. I'm kind of on a promotional tour, in some respect, with these live streams that are kind of live streaming through the month of November, leading up to the release of goal number 1, which will come on Black Friday. For all the members, you'll get instant access to that. And then for all the non-members, you can either join with the Black Friday special and get a significant discount on the offers that we have coming up. So jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024. Get on the email list. You'll get all the information about that sent to you about the Black Friday special. So let's jump to this real quick, okay? I'm going to review real fast from the last live stream. Zone 1, right-hand rootless voicings, left-hand bass notes. 251. Okay, Zone 1 is right-hand rootless voicings with left-hand bass notes or octaves, right? Sometimes I like to use octaves. Oh, you can't really see that still. There's like a nice fat octave, right? So if you really want to thicken things up, you can use octaves down here. But for the most part, just for teaching purposes, Zone 1 is a bass note and rootless voicing, okay? Now, this is your first step to learning how to comp in a band. Again, all geared towards goal 1. We're going to practice the voicing that's best for you today, okay? We're going to be using iRo Pro. You're going to get to practice with me in the different zones. We're going to practice Zone 1 first. Okay, so how do you all practice, right? How do you practice? How do you practice? What do you do to practice? I would love to hear in the chat what you all do to practice. Zone 1 with your rootless voicings, right? How would you practice Zone 1? How would you learn your voicings so that you can play them at any time in Zone 1 when playing tunes, right? Let me know in the chat while I blow my nose. Let me get some tea. I think a lot of you probably use the exercises that I give right inside of Jazz Piano School. But I'm still curious. I think there must be a big delay because I'm still waiting to hear from people. But I'd love for you guys to put in the chat what you do to practice. I'll just continue, and then I'll read on what starts to kind of flow in from the chat. Playing all keys, Bruce says. Great. Pretty big delay here. I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's okay. So your rootless voicings want to be quick and fast, okay? So what we're going to start off with here is we're going to start off with our, just go through the 2-5-1s using cycle of fifths. Great. We're going to start off with this exercise, okay? So we're going to go through the 2-5-1s in all keys using iRo Pro. Now here is my tempo scale: 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. 60 BPM is just starting. So when you're just starting, 60 BPM, this is after you've learned the voicing. So if I give you a voicing like this, you're not going to start out at 60 BPM learning this voicing, right? You need to learn the notes through the keys first before you flip the tempo on. Just so we're all aware. Once you kind of got the voicing down in the different keys, right, then you can flip the metronome on. So 60 is really just starting after you've learned the basic notes and you want to start to apply some pressure on yourself, okay? And then 90, and you can work in between 60 and 90. That's completely okay. 61, 62, 70, 75, 80, 83, 87. But these are the benchmarks, so you know exactly what the tempos are indicating. 60 is like you're just starting. 90 is you're starting to get the hang of it. If you can do something at 90 BPM, you're getting the hang of it for sure. And 120 is a passing tempo grade. You can move on from that particular exercise. 150 is going to be you're swinging. It's killing. It's sounding really good. 180 is mastery. Master. You've mastered it. It's you'll never forget it. Okay? Focused exercises, needless to say, using your voicings, etc. Hooks like or major on the third and all keys. Okay, great. Okay, so that's not the one we're going to use. We are going to use the 251. Sorry guys, let me see. Those are the isolated. Oh, I didn't import it to this list. One sec. So again, you should have your piano in front of you ready to go to practice with me. Okay, you can listen and learn from this if you want and just learn about the exercises and get information from the tips I'm going to be giving you. This is going to be the iRoll Pro. You can look on the sheet. You can pull up. I'd recommend you just look at the keyboard and just memorize the keys rather than trying to look at the iRoll Pro here on the screen or the one that you have, because that's going to be best. The other thing about this new course, I don't really want to give it away. I'm not sure, but I won't tell you right now. Sorry, guys, I teased you. All right. Is this... I'm trying to display all of them so you can see all of them here. Okay, there we go. Finally did it. So again, what we're practicing here is we're practicing right-hand rootless voicings, left-hand bass notes, through our 251. The structure we're going to be doing is 3 5 7 9. Okay, going to 7 9 3 13, going to 3 5 7 9. Okay, this is going to be the easiest of all the exercises we're going to practice today. The easiest, okay? So they're going to get harder from here. If you don't know your rootless voicings, then you can just follow along, just watch, learn. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let's do this at 80 BPM and see how everyone does. I'm going to check the tempo here. Oh, this might take a little while with the delay and feedback. I'm going to go through it once. You guys tell me if the volume sounds good to you. And then if it doesn't, I'll do it again and I'll make some adjustments because the lag in the live stream is kind of long. So here we go. It's going to give you 4 beats. We're going to be in. I'm going to be playing. You play with me. Again, 3 5 7 9, 7 9 3 13, C major. Then we're going to go to the key of F. Do the same thing. And remember, there is 2 bars of the 1 chord. 2 bars of the 1 chord. Here we go. And if you are an advanced player, you can comp some more rhythms. You can do short comps, right? You can do some more advanced comping. I'm just going to do whole notes, though, okay? So everyone can see the notes. Great job moving through. Feel sneeze coming on. Hey. Woo! Made it. Almost there. 4 more keys. Last one. Here we go. Okay. So, how was that for everyone? How is the sound? Let me know. You're probably still going on the time that I'm at. Hold on. Ray says he actually cheats because he used tritone subs. That's cool, Ray. You want to be able to do both. Make sure you can do both, okay? So make sure you can hit the regular 5 and or the tritone. Work on tunes, comping, improv, etc. Jazz Guitar says, great, perfect. Good volume, Noel says, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'll continue here. Let me know in the chat, guys, how that was. Just say if you did that perfect. How many people did it perfect? Say yes or no. Okay? If you did that perfect, say yes. If you didn't do it perfect, say no. Just let me know. So that was structure 1, right? We did structure 1 of our rootless voicing. It was pretty slow. Okay, it was at 80 BPM, right? I'm going to challenge us now. We're going to do the other structure now. 7, 9, 3, 5, going to 3, 13, 7, 9. Going to 7, 9, 3, 5. I'm going to bump up the tempo up to the passing grade now. So we're going to do 120 BPM. A lot of these spots that I was jumping around, for example, the G minor, I'd probably use structure 2 down here. Okay, in this end. I probably wouldn't use this structure. This is a little bit too high for a zone 1 voicing when I'm comping. So if I'm comping, I would do this, right? Okay, so people are saying, yes, Ray, great job. No, that's completely okay. Bruce said yes. No. Okay. So that's okay. So guys, this is exactly what the proficiency course is for. Because these are, just imagine being in school. Like when I was in school, I had to demonstrate these exercises. And for you, if you are to demonstrate these exercises and move on to more advanced things, you got to test out proficiency. So these are the things you got to be able to do. You just have to be able to do. All of you want to become great jazz players. You want to be able to play the way you want to and freely express yourself. Trust me when I say this. If you want that to happen, the materials I've added to this course are the exact things that you need to at least get to the passing grade tempo at with no mistakes. So you at least have to get to 120 BPM with the exercises and things I'm going to be delivering in this course, right? Released on Black Friday for goal 1. Okay, then I'm going to release goal 2 and then goal 3 because I want people to go through slowly and learn everything. And actually, everything should be learned in that order. Comping, solo piano, improv, right? But in order to play the way you want, you at least have to get to 120 with no mistakes. So if you didn't do it, no problem, no worries. But that's what you should be focused on, right? It gives you the exact thing that you know you need to be working on, okay? Which is a great thing. You sit down every day, 10, 15 minutes. This, that's it. Nothing else, I promise. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to go to 120 BPM. We are going to go do the opposite structure. I'm increasing the tempo right now. We're going to be doing this. 7, 9, 3, 5 to 3, 13, 7, 9 to 7, 9, 3, 5. We're going to go through all the keys. I'm going to give you 4 beats, or excuse me, Iro Pro is going to give you 4 beats, and then we're going to be going through the keys. All right? Here we go. Ready? Get ready. Here we go. Play a little quieter. More than halfway through, going well. 4 more. right. Perfect. So, again, I ask y'all, for the more advanced players out there that have been doing this a while, if you guys got through at 120 BPM, go ahead and put yes, right? And I would say, you really shouldn't have any hesitations or if you have one little tiny flub, that's okay. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. But I'd say if you're flubbing or making a mistake in every 251, or even like every other, even like I would say more than 2 of the 251s at 120 BPM, you really got to lower the tempo, okay? But let me know if you guys were able to do that. Pretty much at a 97% passing grade at 120 BPM. Just type yes you were, or just type yes if you were, or no if you were not, okay? So that is the first step to going and practicing. No matter what zone we're in, right? So all I'm doing is I'm using my practice system. So the great thing about this is no matter how advanced you get, when you get to zone 2 and I'm showing you other voicings like this, going to this, or this, the practice system you would use is still the same process as what I'm going through right now, even if you're practicing this drop 2, flat 9, sharp 11, 13 voicing, right? Hey, Mike, these are actually, a lot of these are exercises I made in iRoll Pro. They'll be released inside the course too, the charts that I've made for these particular exercises, okay? So Ray says 90%. That's pretty good, Ray. I'd probably try to bump that up to about 95% if you can, right? But the process is the same. So from our 251s, we now move into isolation because for the exact reason, if I pull up a chart here, right? If I go to a chart in iRoll Pro, if I just select a random chart here, I'm just going to scroll down, select a random chart. Let me see. What's a good one here? I said random. Now I'm looking, actually. Girl from Ipanema, classic. Okay. Right. This is a classic example of the fact that there is no 251 right off the bat. We go from an F major 7 to a G7 sharp 11 chord. Right. So if your goal is, again, all of this isn't about practicing. It's about accomplishing the goal. So the goal we want to accomplish is to get proficient at comping and accompaniment so we can play in a band. This leads to solo piano because we're going to use what we learn here to comp for ourselves in solo piano, which leads to improvisation. Okay. So right off the bat, if I'm comping in zone 1, I'm using my right hand rootless voicings with my bass note, and then I'm going to my G7. Okay, I'm just disregarding the sharp 11 right now. But we need to be able to play these chords outside of our 251s. So luckily we did have a tritone right there, G minor 7, G flat 7, F major 7. Right? And especially on the bridge, check it out. On the bridge, we have an F sharp major 7 going to B7, going to F sharp minor 7, going to D7. So clearly, when you get to tunes, it's not going to be all 251s. So how do we manage our practice to prepare ourselves to play tunes that do not contain all 251s? No tune will contain all 251s. What we have to do now is isolate the chord quality. Isolate the chord quality. So what I'm going to do with you all now is we're going to just do our minor 7ths now. We're just going to work on our minor 7ths because we need to be able to play our minor 7. We need to be able to play C minor 7, going to E flat minor 7, going to E minor 7, maybe going to D minor 7. We need to be able to jump around with any chord quality to be able to actually play the tune that we're working on, right? So I'm going to scale this down for us here, and then we're going to work on our zone 1 rootless voicings. Now, I would recommend you try this first. If you think this is going to be too easy for you, just try it once, okay? And then I'm going to give you an option for the more advanced players to switch to something else. Let's do this a little slower. We're going to do 100 BPM. Losis said, a while back, I developed 3x5 cards for each of the two, then I shuffled them, lined them up piano, and played the chords and exercised, learned the chords. Perfect. Losis, I'm going to get to that particular practice method because that is the ultimate. You just listed the ultimate practice method. I did this all the time. For all of you, I'd recommend using this system first and then working up to your completely random flashcards. In jazz and music, we want to go from the most controlled exercise to the least controlled exercise, meaning the most comfortable environment to the least comfortable environment. And we want to try to make sequential steps to get up there, because otherwise, again, it's like being thrown in a manual motorcycle and putting someone on the highway. It's like driving in a parking lot and then trying to go drive on the highway, right? To go from just a very comfortable environment to a very uncomfortable environment is very hard on the learning process or someone learning a skill. And so that's why it's really important to work your way up in your practice exercise to get to the point that Losis just mentioned, where we're doing a completely random set of flashcards and testing our abilities, okay? So here we go. Rootless voicings in our right hand. This is zone 1. Again, zone 1 voicings are below middle C or around middle C, with our rootless voicing here and our left hand bass note. This is the low end of the piano to create a nice thick low end texture in zone 1 on the piano. That's what we're practicing here. I'm going to drop the tempo down to 100 BPM, and we're going to isolate our chord qualities, meaning we're going to go C minor, then F minor, then B flat minor, then E flat minor, A flat through the circle of fourths. This is going to go pretty fast. Let's go through this twice. Okay? Here we go, 100 BPM. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Again. Why am I sneezing during the exercise all the time? All right, so how many of you were able to do that isolation of the chord quality at 100 BPM at a 97% scoring? Type yes or no. And again, so this is the sequential learning and practice process that I'm going to teach you, and I'm teaching you now, but is also in the 3 goal system inside the new course that's being released on Black Friday, right? Mike said yes, great. So again, this is the process. I hope you guys are learning and understanding this. So for all of you that are saying yes, your next step is to go move the tempo up to 120, because that's your passing tempo. If you want to test yourself and go to 150, great. If you want to go to 180, great. Okay? But essentially, when you use this exercise and you practice at 120, you've passed. You've passed this exercise. So what you would do from here on out, you'd move into the next exercise, which is major scale practice using all the chord qualities. Now, I don't have this lead sheet in iRoll Pro, but it is going to be available for the course. I'm going to show it to you here. So we're going to take our major scale, C and D flat. This is going to cover all 12 keys, right? With the C major scale, we have all the white notes. With the D flat, we get our black notes in. So now my exercise is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Down. I'm just going up and down the C minor scale, right? Using all the chord qualities. I'll go back up. E, F, G, A, B, C. Look at my left hand. I'm just going up and down the C major scale. Right? And my right hand's playing all minor 7 rootless voicings. Now I do D flat, the D flat major scale. I'm going to do the same thing at 120. I don't really know where 120 is. I'm just guessing, but F, F sharp, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, C, B flat, A flat, G flat, F, E flat, D flat. Now, if you can do that at 120, the next step is minor thirds. You're going to use all your diminished chords, your 3 diminished chords to cover all 12 keys. C diminished, D flat, and D. Right? We're at the next step of practicing. Okay, so we're getting really high. Okay, so again, what we would do is go up and down our 3 diminished chords. So here's our first diminished, here's our second diminished, here's our third. So we're going to go up and down. You guys can just learn from this process. Okay, we're not going to be doing these with me, but we're going to do some more advanced stuff in a second here. C minor, E flat minor, G flat minor, A minor, C minor, A, G flat, G flat, E flat, C minor. And then I go up to my next diminished chord, which is D flat. So now I'm going to do the same thing. D flat, E, G, B flat, D flat, B flat, G, E, D flat. And I'm going to do my next diminished chord, D diminished, D, F, A flat, B, D, B, A flat, F, D. Right? So now I've passed that at 120. What's the next step? The next step is exactly what Losa said. Completely random practice exercise. Now, there's a chord chart, a random practice chord chart for y'all to use inside the course. But like Losa said, I also recommend flashcards for that particular level, because when you get to that level and you can do random chords, then I can pick any tune in the real book and I can comp it. I've now learned freedom over my comping to go into any real book tune and comp any minor 7 chord, major 7 chord, or dominant 7 voicing, because I practice those voicings. Now, for more advanced voicings, like your, I don't know, minor 7 flat 5, your minor harmony, you would do the same process. You just use the same process, right? So let's try one more of these. We're going to do our dominants. These are going to be pretty difficult. Okay, I flipped to the dominant isolation practice exercise here. And we're going to do our 7, 9, 3, 13 voicing here. This will be the last zone 1 rootless voicing we're going to do, and then we're going to go to zone 2. Zone 2. So, C7, F7, B flat 7, E flat 7, okay? I'm going to slow this down so everyone can kind of have a chance at this. Let's do 90 BPM again. For the more advanced players, comp some fun rhythms, right? Right? Totally have some fun with some rhythms, okay? And then I'm going to show you one more variation to all of this, and then we'll go into zone 2. So this is going to be at 90 BPM. We're going to go through twice. 90 BPM. Get ready. And 4 beats, and then we're in. Here we go. Maybe I'll do short comps. I want you guys to be able to see the chord symbols, actually. And we're going around again. Here we go. Back to the top. More. Okay. So, hopefully that went okay for everyone. And again, this is all about data, guys. This is all about data, right? It's not about how good you are, how good you didn't do. Who cares? It doesn't matter. This is all about data and telling you where you're at and what you need to practice so that you know what you need to work on to get better. That's what this is about, right? Try to remove the emotional aspect of like feeling certain things if you make mistakes. Like the more you can do that and just kind of separate, just view this as a scientific experiment, really. All the exercises, all the practice, you'll make much more progress faster that way if you can kind of just really take a robotic brain mindset, like an analytical mindset. Okay, if you didn't do this, bump the tempo down. If you can't do 60 BPM, then do the exercise with no tempo until you learn the notes. If you can't do that, okay, then you want to regress back into your 2-5-1s. You want to get rid of the isolation. Let's say that goes well, then come back to this and really just kind of go through your chords until you really can get the block structures here without a tempo, and then slowly start to build the tempo in, okay? How many of you were able to do that one at 90 BPM that we just did? Say yes or no. See how many people could do that one. Can someone do me a favor too and write how many people are on the live stream, because I can't see that either. I'm just curious. I don't know why my software doesn't tell me that. Okay. Top chat, live chat. That was tough. Okay. Losa said that was tough. No problem. Right. And it probably was tough. And thanks, Mike. And so, if that was tough, again, it's just a data thing. So that was 90 BPM. So the next goal for you, you would just slow it down, right? Just slow it down to 60 BPM. And then try that, right? And if you can't do it with the tempo, again, you want to go back even further to a controlled environment, okay? Hey, Nathaniel. So let's go to a tune now with zone 1 comping. Now, again, your goal is to be able to do all the major chord qualities, your majors, minors, and dominants, really before you get to a tune. There's really no point in attempting your goal, right? Reminder, we're doing goal 1, so we're learning how to comp. There's no point really in attempting to do tunes or play tunes with goal 1 if you can't do these exercises, because you're going to get to chord changes you don't know, and ultimately you're going to make mistakes on the tune. Comping has nothing to do really with melodies anymore. Just remember that. So when I flip open to a new tune now, I'm just comping voicings. So if I flip open to a Foggy Day here, there's obviously chords on here that you don't know yet, because all we're practicing is your majors, your minors, and your dominants. Now, the proficiency tests within the course are really to teach you about the process of learning how to do this. So I'm not going through every single chord. I'm not making sure you can play all of your diminished chords, all of your minor 6 chords, right? I'm really just making sure you can do your minors, majors, and dominants, because after you can do that, then you can take and rinse and repeat with a diminished chord, rinse and repeat with a minor 7 flat 5, rinse and repeat with a flat 9, flat 13 chord, right? You just rinse and repeat. You just use the same process to get up to that level again. So I'm going to comp now. You can comp with me if you want. Okay, we're going to comp through this. This is the tune, A Foggy Day. This is a tune, A Foggy Day. And I'm going to put the iRoll Pro on. If you want to just comp whole notes, I'd recommend that. I'm going to comp some rhythms for you guys, though. If we're all comping rhythms, it might sound a little weird. But why don't we do this? Let's trade, okay? We're going to trade. So I'm going to comp the first 4 measures, and then you comp the second 4 measures. And then I comp, then you comp. If you don't know a chord quality, like a D minor 7 flat 5, just skip it. Just skip it, okay? I'm going to be using all zone 1 comping voicings, meaning right-hand rootless voicings and left-hand bass notes, all right? Let's go through twice, and let's go through at 100 BPM. 100 BPM. I'm going to go first 4 measures. You go the second 4 measures. Then I go 4, then you go 4, then I go 4, so on. Now, at the end, there's 4 and 2. Whoever has the 4 and 2 takes those extra 2 measures. So if I don't know who's going to have it, if I have it, I'll take the extra 2. If you have it, you take the extra 2. So you actually have 6 measures there at the end, okay? Because it's an odd number of measures. Here we go. 4 beats, and then we're in. I'm going to go first. I'm going to put a D7 here. And U. Back to me. U. And me. D7 in place of that diminished. And me. Remember, whole notes are great too. And you got the 6 bars. All right. Actually, I'm going to stop it there. I said we are going to go through twice, but I'm going to stop it there. Let's try a different one. Let's try a different tune. Okay? Ooh, that's a good one. This is a hard one. Let's not go that hard. I'm going to sneeze 1 sec. Okay, for anyone just joining us, I am sick, clearly, so I apologize. Let's try Alice in Wonderland. I want to keep it in 4. Ooh, let's do All Me. That's a good one. Okay, so this is going to be in C. It's very easy. Very easy here, right? So thanks, Noel. He says, bless you. So this is going to be in the key of C. Again, I'll do 4, then you do 4. Okay, I'll do 4, then you do 4. Right? And again, just zone 1 here. Nothing fancy. Just easy rootless voicings. And again, don't make your comping too fancy. If rhythms are kind of throwing you off, just play whole notes. That's completely okay. The point here that we're doing is to integrate our practice efforts into our tunes now to see where we're at, right? If a certain chord change is giving us an issue, that gives us data, lets us know that chord change is giving us an issue, right? It's very simple. Then we go back and practice and smooth that out. We take that thorn out, smooth out that chord, and I just moved it, Bruce, and then we continue on, okay? So there's the whole chart there. I guess you guys don't really need the notation staff, but maybe for later. Here, I'll move this over a little bit. Okay, so this is All of Me. This is a great tune. We'll do this at 100 BPM. I'm going to go, and then you're going to go. Okay, 100 BPM. We'll just go once through again because I want to move on to some other stuff. Here we go. I'm going to go first. 2 bars of the chorus, E7. Here comes your part, and you. Okay, me. And you. And me. Repetitive rhythms. Da, da, da. You. And me. So how is this process going for everyone? Like, are you able to, if you're able to comp through these tunes I'm playing using these simple rootless voicings in zone 1, say yes. If you're struggling with a couple chord changes, and what I mean by yes is that you're skipping chords you don't know, that's completely fine, but you're able to manage the major, minor, and dominants, just the simple exercises we've been working on. If that's going okay for you at the 100 BPM, let me know. Just hit yes in the chat, okay? So we're going to move on here, and we're going to move on to a different zone. I'm going to teach you guys one more zone. And zone 2, as I keep talking, just go ahead and write in the chat. But zone 2 now is the addition of easy and yes, like the exercise. Great. Zone 2 is the addition of 1 and 7 with our rootless voicing to 1 and 3 in our left hand, back to 1 and 7 for a 2-5-1. Zone 2 comping moves up the piano now. So instead of this beautiful, rich low-end texture, we're now in zone 2. And in zone 2, we need to add this one extra note to our left hand, but I promise you it makes all the difference. So when I move up to zone 2, I add one extra note in my left hand, 1 and 7, 1 and 3, or 1 and 10 into 1 and 7. Now we can do this the opposite too. 1 and 3, 1 and 7, 1 and 3. Okay? Ray says he has the advantage of being taught by me for several years, so he probably knows a lot of this. Yes, exactly. So zone 2 is a different voicing structure. We use these types of voicings now in zone 2. Now, when I say these types of voicings, it's just one note. We're just adding one note on, right? So we did all this work on our right-hand rootless voicings, which don't even change for the next zone. Do you guys see how important it is to really learn your right-hand rootless voicings now? Because every zone from here on out is going to utilize these in some way in our right hand or our left hand. We'll get to those later. But if we don't start out with a solid foundation, we really can't build or go anywhere. That's why it's really important to use the tempo scale. Make sure you can get them up to 120 and then move to zone 2 as your next level, which is in the course, right? So we're going to move through our 2-5-1s in zone 2 now. Zone 2. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the 2-5-1 exercise chart, and we're going to move through them. And it seems like I do have a mixture of advanced players here and some beginner players, and that's okay. Now, for the beginner players, what you can do is continue to practice zone 1. You don't need to do zone 2 right now. You can just do zone 1 still and keep practicing zone 1. If you think you can do zone 2, then do zone 2. So right now, what we're going to do for zone 2 is I'm going to play my 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9, going to 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5, 13, to 3, 5, 7, 9. Now, real quick, this is too low for a zone 2 chord. For the purpose of playing all the keys in the exercise, I am going to play this, but when comping, I would switch to zone 1 if I was this low for a D minor 7 chord. And to switch to zone 1, what do I have to alter in my voicing? I'll give you guys time to answer to yourself or try to think. Okay, the only thing I have to do is take out the 7. Now I've switched to a zone 1 comping, and this works perfectly. It fits the register beautifully. Zone 2 of voicing is the addition of the 7. Right, so if I remove my 7, that makes a zone 1 voicing. If I add my 7 in, now we're in zone 2, right? But again, for the purpose of the exercise, I am going to play through all the zones. I might jump up. This is going to be at 120 BPM. So this is the passing grade for zone 2 for this structure. So you all can test yourself. Okay, 4 beats, and then we're in. So again, here's 3, 5, 7, 9, 1 and 7. 1 and 3 with our rootless, back to 3, 5, 7, 9. Then I go to the key of F. Same exact structure, 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9, C7, F major 7. Okay? And then I keep going. Here we go. You all ready? Here we go. 4 beats.
way there.
Last 4. Last one. All right, so for some of my advanced players out there, let me know how Zone 2 went for you. Were you able to do this at a passing grade, 120? Again, I would say 120 with about 2 mistakes throughout the whole. If not perfect, like I just did, right? Not to toot my own horn, but I'm just saying, like, you really want to strive for perfect throughout. If you were able to do that, put yes. If not, put no. So I'm going to talk about voice leading. Go ahead and continue to write in the chat, though, if you were able to do it, just so I can see. But a couple of you, I think Bruce, brought up voice leading, right? So Susanna said yes. Okay, great, perfect. So guys, just by the way, if you're able to do a higher level, a more difficult exercise, but you're not able to do the lower level exercise, that's also a problem. That's a problem. So you want to really go back and conquer and master the lower level exercises first, okay, before you continue on. So even if you were able to do that, which is Zone 2 is a higher level, right? This is going to be level 3, I believe, in the course. Zone 1 is level 2. Okay, it's all based on levels. It's like a system, a level system. Then you'll want to go back to level 2 and make sure you got those down before going on to level 3, right? So just because you're able to pass a certain level, like level 2, 3, or 4, let's say you do well at level 4, but you can't do level 2, you got to go back to level 2 to make sure those are working, okay? Again, guys, if you're new or you're just watching me here on the live stream or you're watching the replay, this promotional live streams and all the live streams I'm doing for Jazz Piano School in the month of November are for the release of my brand new 3 Goal Proficiency course, which will, the first part will be released on Black Friday, which you can get access to at an amazing discount, and the deals we'll be offering through Black Friday. Go to jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024 to get on the email list for all the information about this, okay? Ray says, yes, a recent podcast of yours gave me a heads up on this. Excellent tuition. Great. So voice leading, guys, when you get to voice leading, okay, I'm going to go back to Zone 1 so I can show you this in a much more easy way. So if I'm voice leading here through my 2-5-1s, let's say I get to C major 7. The next real step, I kind of skipped over this, I apologize, but you want to be able to voice lead through your 2-5-1s because in a tune, I'm not going to jump up here to get to my G minor. So if I voice lead through this 2-5-1, and then let's say the tune changes to the key of F, all I'm going to do is go to my other structure. So I'm going to go to my 7-9-3-5 now, and then do it here. Then I'll voice lead to my C minor. I'll voice lead to my F minor, right? So voice leading and picking the right structure is really, really important, and you'll see that. Can I add this like this? Oh, I can. Amazing. Okay, great. You'll see that a lot, for example, in your major 7s, right? Let's say you're doing your isolated chord quality exercise. If you start on your C major here, to get to your F major 7, you're not going to jump up to here. That's the first sequential practice exercise to working on them. But eventually, you want to be able to voice lead them through the circle of 4s. So C major. So I'm going to go to my F major by doing this to my other structure, my 7-9-3-5. And then I'm going to be going back to my B flat major 7, my 3-5-7-9. Then I'm going to voice lead again to my E flat major 7. You can't see that on the chord chart there, but I promise you it's there. Right? I voice lead to that. right? So we want to really work in the practice of our voice leading because that's what you're going to see in tunes, okay? So speaking of isolation, once the 2-5-1s are down cold for zone 2, you go through all the different exercises that I just went over. I'm going to go through these real fast. I don't even know if we're going to practice these, but let's do one of them, okay? Let's just do our minor 7s, zone 2 minor 7s. So this will be zone 2 minor 7s, right? And it's okay for you guys to practice this now, even if you didn't get the last exercise. That's no problem. Okay, so we got all isolated chord qualities now. Zone 2, right? So I'm going to be doing all 3, 5, 7, 9. Sorry, zone 2. So we're going to be doing 1 and 7 in our left hand, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. These are your zone 2 two-hand voicings. So many students ask me, Brendan, how do I make two-hand voicings? How do I make two-hand voicings? How do I play beautiful, lush two-hand voicings? This is exactly how you do it. It's the easiest, most simple process using my system ever. Okay, and I'm going to tease you guys a little bit as we get out of this live stream a little bit into a more advanced voicing, zone 3 and zone 4, with extensions in just a second, but let's do this first. Let me blow my nose first. People are going to watch this live stream for the first time who don't know me and be like, what? Why would this guy do a live stream when he's so sick? It's because I show up, people. I'd have to be down hard to not show up for one of these live streams, right? Guys, if I ever don't show up for a live stream, you'll know something serious, very serious has happened. Okay? That's the time you should be worried, okay? Like some really serious family emergency, or like I can't move, talk, or breathe, right? Pretty much. I don't like letting you all down. And I know you're here. You booked this, so let's go. All right. 1, 7, 3, 5, 7, 9. 4 beats, 100 BPM. Here we go. Almost there. 2 more. Great. Okay. Now, just for the sake of it, Woo. Just for the sake of it, let's voice lead these now. Okay, so we're going to start with 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5. 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5. And let's voice lead them now through our other structures. So now our 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5 is going to lead to 1 and 7, 3, 5, 7, 9, which leads to 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5, back to 1 and 7. Okay? It's going to get real low. They're going to turn into zone 1 voicings, which we should be using. Don't turn them into zone 1 voicings just for the purpose of exercise. Just keep voice leading. They're going to get too muddy. That's okay. Okay? Here we go. 1 and 3, 7, 9, 3, 5. Start. All right, this is already too muddy. That's okay. Perfect. So that's exactly how you would voice lead the exercises. Now, again, as you can already see, the purpose of zone 1 really shows its purpose in this exercise, because when we get to a certain point, we really need to switch to our zone 1 voicing structure, meaning we really need to get rid of that extra left-hand note. Otherwise, the voicings are going to sound way too muddy. When we get rid of this note, right, we can really go down very far in our voicings even further and still have them sound good. That's the exact purpose of my system, to show you what structure of voicings you want to have in each and every zone and register of the piano. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the bless yous. So, let's have some fun here before I let you go. Okay? Let's do some dominance. And let's go through a hypothetical situation. Let's say you've done all your major, minor, and dominant work. Let's say you've done all your minor 7 work as well. Your minor 7 flat 5s, your dominance with your flat 9, flat 13, and your minor majors, excuse me. So you are at a high level where you are starting to, this is at the very end, you're starting to add extensions into your voicings. So we're going to work on our flat 9 natural 13 voicing in all keys. So we're going to take our regular dominant voicing, and I'm going to make my 9 a flat 9. And through all my voicings, I'm going to make that the flat 9. So the process of learning fancy voicings is the exact same process we used at the very beginning. Nothing changes. Nothing is different. We just have a different type of voicing. It's a lot of work, yeah, but the process stays the same. You guys sit down every day and work on this and work through the levels as fast as you want. As much discipline as you have to put on yourself to practice in the exact way I'm telling you to practice, that's how fast you're going to get better at jazz piano. The great thing about that is you know exactly what to do, right? Whereas when you're on the internet without the courses and stuff like that, you could be sprinting in a wrong direction and then having to backtrack, and you really don't know where you are. So let's try our flat 9 natural 13 voicing zone 1. Okay, I'm going to do this slowly for y'all if you want to try this with me. Let's do 70 BPM. 70 BPM, 7 flat 9, 3 natural 13. Okay, here we go. I recommend ghosting the chord first using the pedal. Find the chord, move your hand, place your hand over the notes. Get ready for that chord. Right? Now, what do we do to make this a zone 2 voicing? Exact same voicing, but zone 2. We add 1 and 3. Right? So now to make this a zone 2, we would just add 1 and 3, or again, your 1 and 3 can be 1 and 10 if you want a bigger spread. That is an option, excuse me. So, zone 3 now, we get into drop 2s. Right? So all of zone 3 is drop 2s. So that's exactly what we'd start to do in zone 3. And then zone 4, we get into more octaves and some left-hand rootless voicings and stuff like that. And again, the process continues to be the same. Now, at a certain level in the course, you'll start to combine all 4 zones. So here's a demonstration of a random tune that I'm about to pick, of me combining and comping. This is the exact way I comp at a gig. I have a gig in a week, or even for the vocal jazz that I play for at Sac State University. I comp exactly like this. Let me see. What's a good tune here? There's so many obscure tunes. Sometimes it's hard to get just a classic in here. Glad to be unhappy. That's a ballad. Ooh. Oh, no. I thought I saw a good one. How High the Moon. Perfect. Okay? Here's a great one. So I'm going to comp through this using all 4 zones, and I'm going to use all different types of extensions and no reharms. No reharms. I'll just throw in extensions. I won't get too fancy. No reharms, no passing movements. Okay, no staggered bass motion. Okay, because I can get real fancy, right? But I want to try to keep it basic. I'll just add some different types of extensions, so ultimately you can hear some more extensions happening. Okay, and I'm going to go through all 4 zones. So again, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Okay, my right hand's playing octaves up here. I know that's covered by the chart, but that's okay. Don't even worry about it. All right, let's do 110. Let's do 110. I'll go through twice, I guess. Here we go. I'll call out the zones the first time through. On the second time, you all try to pick and see if you can discern what zone I'm comping in and the voicing structure I'm using. Here we go. That's zone 1. Zone 2. Zone 2. Still zone 2. Zone 3. Zone 3. Zone 2. Zone 2. Zone 1. Zone 1. Zone 2. Zone 4. Still zone 4. Still zone 4. Zone 3. Zone 3. Still zone 3. Zone 2. Zone 1. Zone 2. Zone 2. Okay, now you try to pick the zone that I'm using. Sorry about that. I did throw in some reharms at the end and passing movements because I wanted you guys to get a chance to hear how the expansion of what you can start to move into really uplifts the comping in different ways as you get past proficiency, right, into these other types of movements that are scattered through jazz piano school. But again, if you start to explore these different types of passing motions first, you really lose out on the fundamental concepts of all of the voicings and things like that. So last question to y'all. Were you able to pick out the zones that I was using and comping with through when I wasn't calling them out? Say yes or no in the chat. If you were able to pick out the zones I was using, say yes. If you weren't, say no. That's okay. That's okay if you weren't. So again, this is all focused around comping. And what I'm teaching you here, okay, directly relates to solo piano. Zones 1 and zone 2, all the 4 zones I use in solo piano. If I go to play a solo piano tune, I'm going to comp using these things. Just Friends, again, has huge holds. So when I play Just Friends, right? If I play my Just Friends, I'm going to comp. I'm using zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 to comp for myself in solo piano. So the goal 1 of learning how to comp directly relates to goal 2, solo piano. That's why it's perfect for you to start in goal 1, move into solo piano if your goal really majorly is solo piano focus. And then if you do want to add improv on after that, you can go to improv goal 3 later. Okay? Are you guys all excited for these new courses coming on Black Friday? Goal number 1 will be coming on Black Friday. And I will tell you that, again, jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024 if you're not a member. If you are a member, you'll get direct access to that when we release it inside the membership. What I'm teaching you here, this professor taught me a tune back in the day in school called Dizzy Atmosphere. And I will forever remember this particular tune. Do you know why? Because this professor sang me the tune and showed me the tune, essentially themselves, by singing it and playing it, right? And he had me watch them on the piano. Now, he went through some exercises as well, and I never forgot that tune. Now, a lot of students, when they have a hard time playing jazz, the main culprit, I hate to say it, a lot of you guys are going to get annoyed maybe. It's because you're reading the musical exercises within JPS or other areas. It's because you're reading notations all the time. Now, what this does is it really handcuffs you to the learning process of reading the notes, and then it's really hard to get off of it. Reading music's like a drug. Your body needs it, your mind needs it, and then when you remove the music, and I try to ask you to play a C minor 7 rootless voicing starting in the 7, a lot of students ask me for the notation because they need to read the notes to play the chord. But jazz is all about not needing the notes. Jazz is about not reading music. Jazz is about playing freely without any music, right? So, hey, Dunya. So that's exactly what the proficiency courses are going to be, okay? Everywhere else inside of Jazz Piano School does give you transcriptions. It does give you music, notation, okay? But the new proficiency tests, I believe, I promise you, they're going to be mainly based on your ear. They're going to help you with your ear training. They're going to help you learn the music and help the exercises based on watching the videos without any notation. You're going to watch my videos. You're going to replicate what I'm doing. You're going to practice in the same way I'm doing it. You're going to practice with me. You're going to learn the notes. You're going to learn the theory. And I promise you, you're going to become such a better player than you ever have been because you're not reading practice notated exercises of everything that I'm doing and showing you. Okay, I know that could be scary. It probably is very scary for you. It's probably might be a little bit frustrating. It might be a little bit aggravating. But if you can be patient and learn to play by ear, learn to play by watching me and learning the keyboard, like you're using your eyes to learn the voicings and the shapes, you're using your ears to hear them, you're watching my videos, I promise you, you're going to be an excellent jazz pianist so fast. Okay? So, jazzpianoschool.com/Black Friday 2024. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it is Tuesday. I think the next live stream's on Thursday, and we're going to be going into goal number 2. Goal number 2, solo piano. I'll be doing on Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific. Hopefully, I'm not blowing my nose and sneezing, the majority of the time. I think I'll be much better. But thank you all so much for joining me. Will you be doing any hymn gospel technique lessons? Not in these particular proficiency courses, Noel. In the main course curriculum, there is some gospel stuff there. And, I'll think about doing that a little bit, maybe adding a course into Jazz Piano School somewhere around that. But in the proficiency courses, that's such a niche topic. It's not really included in proficiency, right? But all the exercises and techniques that I'm giving you will help you do that. So all the voicings that you're learning and the copying stuff, all the improv you'll learn, all the solo piano stuff, that will really help you move on. Again, because all the proficiency exercises, they help you move on to niche topics like Christian hymn gospel technique, or they help you move on to beautiful ballads or passing chords or anything like that, right? So proficiency is meant to get you out of proficiency, test out of proficiency, and really move on to any of the specialty stuff you want to learn in a much easier way, a much less anxiety way. You're going to be able to play it so much better with ease, and you're going to be like, wow, this is so much easier than when I tried it before because I went through the 3 goal proficiency system. That's exactly what it's meant for. My pleasure, Susanna. Good to see you guys. That's it. I hope you have a great day. I'm probably going to rest a little bit today. Get ready for Thursday. But yeah, enjoy your Tuesday. Try to practice some of this and tune in on Thursday for the next one. See you guys later.
Well, if you enjoyed that video lesson, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the Jazz Piano School YouTube channel because we release a new lesson video just like the one you saw every single week. And we have other content educational series called Tips, Tricks, and Transcriptions that we release every single week as well. And don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of the other amazing free education available there. And if you're looking to take some next steps on your jazz piano journey, we do have a membership available, many courses, and even live teaching programs that allow you to work with myself and my staff of Jazz Piano School educators. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.